Wide receiver Robbie Anderson from the Panthers has been traded to the Cardinals. We were actually about to talk about this. We saw him get kicked out by their interim head coach, Steve Wilks, in that last game, got sent to the locker room there. We didn't think his time in Carolina was going to be much longer. Now traded to the Cardinals. What do you think about that coming in just now?
As Will Brunson likes to say in the old Pick Six podcast, desperation is a reeky cologne. So it feels like a desperation move if you're Steve Keim, the GM for the Arizona Cardinals, only because, as I mentioned, things are so chaotic. Robbie Anderson made it clear that he had played his last game at Carolina with how things ended yesterday afternoon on the sidelines when he was politely asked to leave for the last time, it turned out, after getting into an argument with the wide receivers coach. He's a good player. He's in the second year of a 2-year deal that pays him north of $25 million, I believe. And he provides some deep play potential. You see him being asked to leave here in yesterday's game. I don't know if Robbie Anderson plus DeAndre Hopkins is going to fix what ails his team offensively in Carolina. Sort of like DeAndre Hopkins, Robbie Anderson's best years perhaps might be behind him. He can help. He's a solid number 2, number 3 receiver, but is he going to come in and change the tenor of an offense that's struggling? No, because he didn't do it in Carolina, where that offense struggled week in and week out. So it's not surprising that he is now somewhere other than Carolina. Not necessarily surprising he's in Arizona, because they have needs there. But again, there's a lot to do on the to-do list to make this offense better. And unfortunately, DeAndre Hopkins and the addition of Robbie Anderson aren't going to magically fix that in a span of 24 to 48 hours.
Ryan saying the best days may be behind Robbie Anderson. Of course, tensions were there with his team, as we saw in that last game, as we saw over the course of the season. I mean, sometimes we do see when a player gets somewhere new, they're excited to be there. There's a little bit of boost to them. I mean, but how much of a boost could they see from Robbie Anderson if he elevates his play a little bit? Or how much could he elevate his play?
No, it can happen, and I think unlike the Hollywood Brown trade, which happened right around the draft, which reunited Kyler Murray with his Oklahoma teammate, Hollywood Brown's in the prime of his career, and perhaps he hasn't even hit his prime yet, and he's showing that week in and week out with the connection that he has with Kyler Murray. There's no real connection between Robbie Anderson and Kyler Murray. Robbie Anderson's 29 years old, I believe, so he's much closer to 30 than Hollywood Brown is. And again, he's a deep threat. He's never been considered a true number 1. Can he elevate his game coming to an offense that throws the ball a lot? Because they seem, again, there doesn't seem to be a real plan offensively. Yeah, absolutely. He can put up some big numbers, but is it going to be enough to get this Carolina team, who currently sits at 2-4, last place in the division, behind the Seahawks, a team that many thought, myself included, weren't going to be very good, and make a run in the NFC? I don't think that Robbie Anderson gives you that. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins coming back gives you that. Because the other thing to remember, man, is that Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray typically together start strong. They've had some undefeated starts, 5-0 last year, I believe, and then the wheels fall off. And typically under Cliff Kingsbury, November and December have not been very nice to this Cardinals team. So again, these two players, while very good, I don't know if they can solve all the issues, especially over the second half of the season, where historically under Cliff Kingsbury, the Cardinals have found ways to lose games they probably should have won. One
trade already going down today. Robbie Anderson leaving Carolina, heading to the Cardinals there. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.